Hi, Keith Abell here, shooting another quick blog post today. I'm actually outside enjoying some beautiful weather in Kentucky. It's a beautiful spring day. It's actually Memorial Day weekend, so I just want to share something with you. Over 200 years ago, there was a revolution, an American Revolution, an event that literally changed the course of history. It was led by a group of unsatisfied people, a group of people that were tired of being told what they could do and when they could do it. People that were fed up with the lack of choices, the lack of personal freedoms, people fed up with their lives being controlled by others, fed up with being oppressed, and fed up with being manipulated. They finally said, enough, I've had it, and I'm not going to live like this anymore. Our ancestors were a group of people that took full responsibility for what happened to them. It was a spirit that ignited a country and formed what is now a giant in the world. I've got a question for you. Where is that spirit today? Well, folks, it's time for another revolution. Let me explain one of the laws of the universe. It's called the law of use, and it simply says, whatever you don't use, you lose. Lack of use causes loss. Ambition unused declines. Faith unused decreases. If you don't use your skills, you lose your skills. If you don't use your freedoms, you lose your freedoms. Freedom doesn't come automatically. It's not obtained and then just handed down to us as an inheritance. It must be achieved each and every day. At the turn of the century, in the year 1900, less than 10% of us worked for other people or the government. Over 90% of us were self-employed, and we were an independent people. According to the U.S. Census Bureau statistics in 2010, 110 years later, over 90% of us work for someone else or for the government, and only 10% of us are self-employed. We changed from being a people that are independent to becoming a dependent people. We slowly shifted from a people who took full responsibility for everything that happened to us to people who's become talented and practiced at the art of blaming others for our problems. Our giant has fallen asleep. Our forefathers didn't say, who's going to take care of me? They simply said, all I ask is the opportunity to be free and to take care of myself and my family. Today, we elect officials who will, quote unquote, take care of us. We cry out against anyone who dares to ask us to provide more value in the workplace. We do everything we can to spread around the suffering in our society, and yet no one is willing to step up and be a part of the solution. We have slowly changed from a society that compensates based on value to a society that compensates based on entitlement and seniority. What we've come to believe is it's our due. We act as if someone actually owes us a living. Part of this change is due to the dramatic rise of conformity in our society. We're all taught to conform. Incredible pressure is put on us at a very early age to do things the quote-unquote right way. And yet no one ever asked the question, is this really the right way? A man once said, I'm just a collection of mirrors, reflecting what everyone expects of me. We live our lives to please those people around us, and the scary thing is, the people around us are doing exactly the same thing. Psychologist Abraham Maslow calls us outer-directed people. We don't act, we only react. We seek not to be outstanding, but to fit in. We're able to respond, not to choose. Perhaps that's why a wise man once said, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. In order to change, we need to become inner-directed people, people with our own purpose, people who are not easily swayed by the opinions of others. And that's difficult because from a very early age, we look to the opinion of others to orient ourselves and to validate our decisions and our actions. Nietzsche said, we need more strong people in this world because the weak, by their sheer mass, are forcing weak ideals and weak values on all of us. Today's massive social and economic changes are waking this slumbering giant. Some people may not be ready right now for the changes that are happening today, but it doesn't matter if they're ready or not. An old proverb says, if a man wants his dreams to come true, he must first wake up. I, for one, am glad for all the radical changes in our society because I believe that within this crisis, we will find that independent spirit that once pioneered this country. Some of us are finally ready for change. The displacement of our workforce has caused many of us to start searching for something better. Moving products and moving services is our business and our goal, but what we're becoming in the pursuit of this goal is a larger and much more important issue. The rekindling of our independent spirit has a more lasting value. There's no more noble a business in this world than a business that encourages the development of people. Every living organism has one and only one central need in life: to fulfill its own potentialities. The acorn becomes the giant oak tree. The puppy becomes a dog. And that's all that's required of an oak tree or a dog. But the human being's task in fulfilling his or her nature is much more difficult. The reason is, unlike other living creatures on this planet, you've been given the dignity of choice. You'll not grow like the tree. You'll only grow as you plan and you choose to grow. When a person chooses to live, two things actually happen. First, assuming responsibility for themselves takes on a whole new meaning. They accept responsibility not as something they've been saddled with, but as something they have chosen for themselves. The second thing that happens is that the discipline from the outside is replaced by self-discipline. They accept discipline not because it's commanded, but because they themselves have chosen it and chosen what they want to do with their lives. Just like when the disenfranchised men and women over 200 years ago got fed up and said, "I'm not going to live like this anymore, I'm not going to take it," there's another revolution coming. And it's not coming just from Americans this time, but from people all over the world. It's coming from people who have been oppressed in meaningless jobs. From people who have been unjustly held back. From people who have been slighted or ignored. From people who have had their hopes crushed time and time again by the circumstances around them. From people who have been playing in the game where the rules aren't the same for everybody. From people whose dreams have almost died by the methodically dripping of negative and pessimistic forces. People who have just been waiting for the right opportunity to present itself, an opportunity that they could hold on to, believe in, and a place where people believed in them. I hear the rumbling of this coming revolution every day. The old rules are changing and society is finally ready for that change. Will people try to persuade you not to rise up? Yes, they will, and sometimes with the best intentions. But we must fight anyone that tries to influence us against our freedom, and they'll try. Believe me, they'll try. They'll try to suggest you off course, to nudge you off course, to distract you off course. There's another revolution coming, and it's going to be led by a group of unique and courageous people like you. People who have had it with the way things are, people who have picked out their mountain in life and said, "I'm going to the top." And if someone tells you, "You can't climb mountains, you don't have any experience," you tell them, "I'm going to the top." And if your neighbor tells you, "Choose another mountain, that one's too rocky," what are you going to tell them? "I'm going to the top." And if someone tells you, "Let's go over here, this one's not so steep," what are you going to tell them? "I'm going to the top." And if your friend tells you, "Come on, let's climb this one, that one over there's too slippery," what are you going to tell them? "I'm going to the top." And if anyone tells you you can't go up because it's too rocky, too steep, too slippery, you say, "Listen here, I'm going up. You're either going to see me waving from the top or dead on the side trying. I'm not coming down." There's something about the do or die attitude. It's almost like when someone has a do or die attitude, fate, time, and circumstances seem to get together and have a hasty conference and say, they say, "They're going to do it or die. We might as well let them have it." The people that are watching this blog today, watching this video, you're special. You're special because you've already rekindled that independent spirit. You're special because you've already said that you're not going to conform to negative pressures around you. You've all said, "Enough, I've had it, and I'm not going to take it like this anymore." You are the people who want to set big goals and aspirations for yourself and your families. People who want to live in a country where families are brought together again instead of being torn apart. People who want a country where, once again, owning your own business and controlling your own destiny is commonplace. People who want a country where every man, woman, and child is treated with equal respect and dignity. People who will pay any price so that families will not live the legacy of maxed out credit cards and unfulfilled promises. Today, we stand at the genesis of a new revolution, and people like you are going to lead it. Theodore Roosevelt said these words decades ago, and I think they're particularly appropriate today. We see across the dangers of the great future, and we rejoice as a giant refreshed. The great victories are yet to be won. The greatest deeds are yet to be done. I've dreamt up a company that can give us the opportunity to make these dreams come true by allowing us all to fulfill our own personal dreams and our own personal true potential. And I've found that with Longevity. I'd like for you to take a look at what we're doing. I would like to encourage you to take responsibility for yourself, take control of your life again, get in contact with me. My number is 502-212-2929. That's 502-212-2929, or visit my website below. Again, thanks for watching this post. Hope you all have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you again in the future.